State Senator Melissa Hurtado, and I think the place to start would be on this issue, this very sad issue regarding the family of Amanda Zubia and the parole of one of the people involved in her death. What was your reaction when you saw that?
My first reaction was anger, frustration, and and also just made me think about why is the parole board doing this? And to me, I think it's just a consequence of the passage of Prop 36, to be honest with you. And so I think we're going to see probably a lot more approvals, which I disagree with. And so uh, right away, I got into action. I wrote the letter, I sent it over to my staff, and my staff made sure that we got it over to the governor's office.
So, what's the link, do you think, between her release and Prop 36?
Well, yeah, there's a need for, of course, there could be more people, going to jail under the new law or under the passage of Prop 36, and therefore, I think to make room, I think that there's probably some pressure from the parole board to approve some of these, uh, individuals that are in jail and up for parole.
Do you think that it's something that the parole board has to do, or is it just that they feel like they have to do it themselves? Is it something that you want to see as a lawmaker? Because I know that at the time, I know you had supported the 36 measure.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about making sure that people pay for the consequences of the crimes that they commit for a very long time since I got into the state senate. I don't think that people are linking the two just yet, but I think if these approvals are being handed out, I mean, this is not the first one that I've seen in the Senate district. There's a handful of others outside of Kern County. I've seen some in Tulare County, and I think that this is probably just going to continue to pick up in others as they start hearing from their communities. I think people will begin to asking questions because the crimes that I'm seeing of the individuals that have been approved for parole, I don't see how we can release these individuals. I don't think it's safe for our communities, and I think we'll begin to see a lot more questions being asked. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that that's what's happening. And the parole board, as you know, they're making decisions, and it's not like we have direct oversight over them at the moment. So that's what we're
What
dealing with.
have you had conversations with the family of Amanda Zubi in this unfortunate matter?
I did before we, sent the letter to the governor's office. Before I, I, send a press release out on sending this letter to the governor's office. I reached out to the family. The family had also reached out to our office. It just so happened we were thinking, I guess, of each other at the same time, and spoke to a cousin of the family, and they're grateful um, for writing the letter to the governor.
Gotcha. And a little bit of a pivot there as well when it comes to your bill on Meadows Field. Can you talk to us a
Mhm.
little bit about that in Senate Bill 661?
Yeah, look, I've been focused on infrastructure, whether it's water, uh, you know, also been working on expansion of freeways for our region. But the other area that needs attention is our airports in the Central Valley, but specifically Meadows. You have a lot of individuals. I mean, I travel back and forth between Bakersfield and Sacramento, and with me up to Sacramento, there's individuals that are flying out of Burbank with me to fly to Sacramento that are from Bakersfield. And so, that airport there has so much potential. It needs the support. It needs funding. There's existing, funds that should be going to airports that are not going, and we're trying to make that happen. That's why I introduced Senate Bill 661. Obviously, the area code is to symbolize Kern County, the region, and the need to bring dollars to pick up the expansion of Meadows.
Right. I imagine as someone who's flying, and you just mentioned as someone who's currently, in the airport and ready to
Yeah.
fly right now and ready to, do that service. I know it's a tough commute. And what have those conversations been like with the people that are there, those people that you've had at Meadows? I'm sure that a lot of that really comes from I should say, I guess the groundwork or the grassroots of the bill like this.
Well, I authored the bill, and so again, no one has really been talking about these, having these conversations. And once it made it to its first committee, I think there was a lot of pushback because the language in the bill at the moment says, a significant part of the funding would go to Meadows. I don't think, I think obviously there's others that represent other regions that want a part of those funds, but um, but they want to be part of the conversation. I think folks are excited about this and that we're starting that conversation. And I'm sure that it won't be a 50% going just to Bakersfield directly, but given the fact that I'm the sponsor of the bill, we're hoping that we can make a significant uh, push to get our fair share of funds.
And just one final question too. This is on a separate topic. For those of us that are watching this from afar and are looking at the Senator Groves bill from last year of 1414, now this new Assembly bill as well. Can you take us from like kind of what's going on up there? I think a lot of people want to know just the back and forth, the fact that the governor's weighing in. What is your take on this whole thing?
I mean, I just think that there's a process in place. We should, every bill should have the opportunity to be heard. I think this is a common sense bill. It's a no-brainer. And I think I got a text message from my brother that lives in Texas, and he's like, "What's going on? Is this true? Are Democrats doing this?" Obviously, my brother's a Republican, I'm a Democrat, but he's like, is this true? Are you guys doing this? And I said, no, this is actually a Democrat that is sponsoring the bill. Democrats support this bill, even though the headlines read differently. I think there's a lot of confusion there. I wasn't part of the negotiations in regards to SB 1414 last year. And so I just think we got to move. We got to be able to move the assembly bill forward. And if someone disagrees with it, they should just be given the opportunity to vote no. It shouldn't be stalled. But that's the assembly side that has to deal with how they want to move forward. And I'm sure that this is not the end of it, even though it's been a pause temporarily. I'm sure that they're going to continue to have conversations and find a way forward. That's
But
what
you
at least I'm hoping for.
but you would vote with the 16 and 17-year-old being included in the clause.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Hopefully you get back in safely, and as this, of course, all this legislation goes surrounding 661, and we'll see what that means. I know Meadows Field is we always go there for these big stories, whether or not it's those veterans coming back from honor flight, and
Mhm.
of course those people that daily take those trips, whether to Sacramento for their job or to other places like around the rest of the state. So we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Of course. You got it. Thank you all.
Thanks.